Looks like we'll get started with the first Telcoin Association Town Hall. So everyone, welcome. I'm Parker Span. I'm thrilled to see so many of you out there. Looks like we've got about 40 so far. Our goal for the session generally is to inform you, engage you, the community, about the Telcoin Association, recent platform and association developments, and our upcoming inaugural association election. We're also providing an open forum for candidates and community members to participate in shaping Telcoin's governance, as well as a place for them to join and discuss why they should be elected by their peers. So before we dive in, I want to emphasize that this town hall is focused exclusively on Telcoin Association matters. We'll be discussing Telcoin Platform, including Telcoin Network, TELx, Telcoin Application Network, the TEL token, its governance, and of course the upcoming election. We won't be covering Telcoin Holdings products or company operations like Telcoin Bank and Digital Cash. So let's quickly run through the agenda. We'll start with an overview of the association and the platform, and then I'll cover some recent developments that we shared in the association update a few days ago, as well as legal and organizational updates, general ecosystem partnerships. After that, Grant Key, who's joined with me up here today, is going to walk us through technical progress and new feature developments on Telcoin Network. So a lot of exciting developments there. Then we're going to go through the election process. I'll provide a holistic overview, explain the different roles of the different miners in the miner groups, the miner councils, and the structure there. We have a set of instructions that are coming your way shortly too, probably right after this or early in the morning, but I expect later tonight. The election voting instructions will be there. The nomination instructions already are. Then we're going to go through, we're going to open up the stage for council candidates to come in and just have a brief opportunity to present using this platform to the community why they should be elected. And then after that, we're jump in for a Q&A session. So that's your chance to ask questions about the election, the different roles of the council members, how you can participate and why, things we missed, and just generally any Telcoin Association and Telcoin Platform matters. And then we'll just wrap it up with closing remarks and next steps in advance of the election on September 4th, so a week from now. So I encourage everyone to participate actively in this. Feel free to ask questions, share your ideas throughout the event. If you go to the top right of your Discord, there's a hand there that you can use to request to speak. So please do that. And we'll go from there. Is my sound not doing well, Grant? I just looked at the chat. I want to make sure.
Yes, I think that Discord, if anyone's having trouble with if they raise their hand and they're selected to talk, Discord sometimes will try to guess which microphone you prefer. It'll also guess what output for your sound is. So you may have to configure some of your settings there, but I think Klimbo was able to provide a helpful suggestion for some people. And yeah, if you have any questions in the chat, we'll be watching that as well.
Yeah, it looks like we've got some people changing their audio selections, and that worked for wall inspector. So that's good. All right, thanks, Grant. Yeah, all right. So I'll start off with a little bit of an overview and then some updates. So I'm just beyond excited after years of development to share this vision with you. We think it's going to revolutionize global finance, and we're leveraging this transformative technology, blockchain, to enable the world to access as available, and open as the internet, financial services and ownership without relying on middlemen. And our model for that is surrounding mobile network operators and the GSMA. And the reason for that is that mobile networks account for most of the users in the world, with nearly 6 billion. They're in every country. They have the network infrastructure. They have the compliance wherewithal. The average revenue per user is on steady decline over time. as tends to happen with commoditized services. And so there's already a pivot from mobile networks into providing financial services, especially in the developing world. And so, as you all know, given that you're involved in this discussion, as users of these systems, they're just a lot better than calling, your banker to make a wire transfer that's going to take you, 3 phone calls and a few days. So, blockchains revolutionize this stuff, and we think that the Telcoin platform is the optimal model for that. Though, of course, there are no panaceas, as it were. So, as an overview of the Telcoin platform, the platform, including its token TEL, is governed by this Telcoin Association, which is a Swiss verein based in Lugano, Switzerland, which is kind of like a club. Okay, so and the big sort of issue with existing governance models in crypto is that they don't have legal regimes for governing these things. They've been mostly treated as these novel things, goods that we should just create new structures from scratch, not benefit, from the legal and institutional frameworks that already exist for similar organizational types where groups of users share ownership rights over a system, and the benefits that it generates. So this system is designed to establish a global blockchain network and token standard for the GSMA, which is this consortium for telecoms, mobile network operators, and every mobile phone user in the world. And so by coordinating a global blockchain network around telecoms, the association aims to create an alternative financial system that brings blockchain finance to every mobile phone user in the world. So briefly, what sets us apart? I'm just going to highlight a few aspects that are of critical importance. So the first part is that we're aiming to ambitiously scale blockchain finance to every mobile phone user in the world by harnessing the reach of mobile networks. So we're creating a shared blockchain for financial services that can connect every mobile user and company globally. It's not just about accessibility, it's about creating an entirely new financial technological paradigm. Second, there's this aspect of shared ownership that is within the Telcoin platform governance system, within the association, that makes us superior in a variety of ways for users. For instance, the traditional model for ownership and governance in blockchain systems usually involves one actor, right? You've got let's say, for instance, you've got your base layer validators and your developers. So there's two, but only the base layer validators, for instance, on, let's say, Ethereum, are the ones who have the opportunity to go in and harvest the native token. And in numerous cases, you only have one actor, token holders, who get to vote on the actual use, providing and planning and financing the network, allocating the token. For the most part, these systems don't include everyone, and that's problematic at the the sort of long term, because what these systems they are these ownership technologies on the internet that can be programmed. And so they enable you to own and transfer goods and services over the internet without relying on anyone else. And so by including, what already are the active stakeholders in every blockchain ecosystem, which at the base layer, you have your validators, at the middle layer, you have liquidity miners, or people providing goods and services on chain. And then at the application layer, you have developers who are providing access to users to access these systems, and then the users themselves. So instead of just empowering the base layer validators, we've actually empowered the entire value chain for blockchain services in its ownership. And so that should ideally, I think everyone probably follows that process eventually. And the reason for that is you can. And so why wouldn't you? And then lastly, this governance system is not, just something that we came up with, throwing darts at the wall, hoping to make it stick. It really is. It's based on frameworks, time-tested frameworks from the traditional world of goods, services, and communal ownership. And so that's why we've created this complex governance system to manage this complex system itself, and why we've created an actual legal entity and set of legal entities for enabling the association of users to actually interact in the real world, actually have the ability to represent itself in judicial proceedings, to have the ability to have limited liability protection for its members. If you operate and you own a system as a community, but you don't have a legal structure, well, we've got hundreds of years of case law that says that's not exactly the best idea for its members who are participating. And so we wanted to protect people. We wanted to empower the community of Telcoin. We did that through legal innovation. And so the Telcoin platform, as an overview, is this 3-layered structure. Okay, and you sort of actually already see this in every blockchain, right? You have that base layer, you have the goods and services layer, then you have the access points for users. Well, we include that into this system to make it more organized, as well as to create proper boundaries and really empower those users within those layers. So at the base layer, there's Telcoin Network, which is a EVM compatible proof of stake blockchain secured by mobile network operators. Then you have TELx. I'm sure there's a ton of liquidity miners in here. Big shout out. It's a decentralized exchange layer produced by liquidity miners. And then there's an application layer, Telcoin Application Network, where GSMA developers create mobile apps for users to access the platform, and users stake TEL, refer others, just like they would on Event. How do any sort of financial payment apps or services end up being go to market through their users? Well, generally through some sort of referral model. And so at the application layer, we've empowered even the users with the ability to stake the native token, harvest fees, harvest TEL issuance based on their performance and rules set by the association, and also vote to represent their interests, to protect their property rights. And so these miners are really the heart of the ecosystem: validators, liquidity miners, developers, and stakers. Each plays a crucial role in producing the system. They all earn fees and TEL issuance, and then importantly, participate and represent their unique, distinct interests as a group. So there's 4 groups in governance. So this association is really the sort of legal embodiment of our commitment to community-driven governance. And through the association, we're basically ensuring that platform improvements, maintenance, TEL allocation, general rules for interacting within the association are set by you, the community, and all of the involved stakeholders who actually produce the system and are affected by governance decisions. People are affected at the application layer on blockchain networks, but they don't have a say unless they're a miner, right? And so we wanted to sort of formalize that ownership. And so now that I've given you guys a little bit of an overview here of the platform, the association, and why it is great, I want to give you a few updates about from the Telcoin Association update this month, August 2024. So to start off with, have some major legal improvements, updates. So officially, as of May 27th, the Telcoin Association in Lugano has been with the corporate registrar, given a corporate number. And so basically this enables us to operate with the association in the real world. And importantly, it enables the Telcoin Association to be the sole and wholly owned shareholder of the TAO. The TAO, which we, after doing significant due diligence across various jurisdictions in Europe, we came to the conclusion that the TAO would be best suited, also because of its proximity to the GSMA in the UK. So serendipitously, somehow, exactly a year after the Telcoin Association Constitution on August 16th, 2024 was completed and ratified, the TAO was granted its incorporation status. It's, those things, as anyone who's done, these legal filings knows, are completely out of your hands. And so, maybe that was the universe telling us that we're onto something. But so the TAO serves as this operational arm of the association. It is the separation between the community at the association, planning and financing changes and updates to the platform, and then actually carrying those out in the real world. So the difference between providing and producing, and those two things need to be separate, because for a number of reasons. But one good example would be if you required all of the people that are council members to be hardcore Solidity developers. You're probably not going to get many people, on board. B, it completely excludes everyone else. And C, we want to enable the community to develop what it wants to develop, not through some technocratic structure where, someone says, "Oh, it can't be done." Well, we'll go find and figure out how it can be done as a community. And so that's why the association is sort of empowered with its own ability to work with the TAO to then contract externally to other companies. So anyone can contract with the association through the TAO. And then on the ecosystem side, tremendous strides with the GSMA. I mean, we've been the first member of the GSMA on the crypto side since 2018. Barcelona this year was electric. It was the first time where everyone came together and said, "Wow, like it's all coming together. Let's do this." So just consistent discussions with mobile networks, and then across the board with both the GSMA itself and its members on various initiatives related to coming on board and participating both as a validator, as a developer, and within governance. We're also working with numerous central banks on different sandbox projects. And then Telcoin network development has just been stellar. We've expanded the team and with some key new hires, and there's just overall significant development progress. I'm really stoked about it. I'm really proud of the team, and just can't wait to get the mainnet live this year. So thank you for your attention. I'd like to hand it over to Grant Key. He's the director of blockchain engineering at the TAO. He leads the development of Telcoin Network, the foundational layer for all this to work. He's going to update us on some exciting developments and on Telcoin Network. And Grant, over to you, my friend.
Thanks, Parker. Yeah, I agree. This is a very exciting time, especially for the Telcoin community and the Tel fam. Appreciate everybody being here. This is an ambitious project. This is a huge project. This has a ton of potential, and this is something that we're just kind of finding ourselves at the right place at the right time. I think that Telcoin Network as a whole tries to answer the question, like, why is the industry not using blockchain technology? Why is more corporate interest not in surrounding this extremely efficient, lower cost solution that's been proven secure? And I think a lot of that reason is because of the options that are available right now in the blockchain space. For instance, Bitcoin and Ethereum being some of the first two chains on the scene. And when you consider the objectives and the solutions that blockchains provide, you're kind of limited to three big things, the blockchain trilemma. And that would be security, decentralization, and scalability. And when you look at Bitcoin and Ethereum, again, there's plenty of other networks to discuss, but for now we'll just focus on those. You really have you can only prioritize two, and so you see that Ethereum and Bitcoin are both security is paramount. But then that leaves either decentralization or scalability, and so both chains have chosen that sort of decentralization above scalability. Well, with Telcoin Network, one of the benefits that we have is some level of authority and the validator set. And so that really kind of, in some ways, reduces the amount of decentralization from a perspective of everybody and their grandmother running a node. But what that lets us do is prioritize scalability. So for Telcoin Network, our big two out of the three are scalability and security. And so with that, we Telcoin Network reached like a proof of concept earlier this year. In time for the GSMA February, we were able to demo some of the exciting technology that we've put together. Telcoin Network is EVM compatible, but it uses a different type of consensus than the beacon chain itself. Particularly, currently right now, we're looking at, we've implemented Narwhal and Bullshark. If anybody here is familiar with SU Network and Miston Labs, they've done a really exciting research paper and some really cool thoughts on just Byzantine fault tolerant, DAG-based consensus layer algorithms. So we've implemented that, and we are execution-wise, we are producing Ethereum-style blocks. We've repurposed some of the block information so that makes sense for verifying peer blocks on our network. And yeah, we're really excited to be at this stage. So currently, we are wrapping up. The team is we're wrapping up some development for the faucet release that should be coming out this week. But before I dive into that, I do want to kind of just discuss our newest team members. So my name is Grant. I've been on the team for the past 2 years. Telcoin Network, though, has recently expanded. We have Steve and Markus on the team now. They're both gifted individuals and they're natural engineers. I think either one of us could step in and work on any particular problem at a time. So it's really been fantastic to find them and have them join the team. I couldn't be more excited, really just thrilled. They join Telcoin at this time and because they believe in the project and they have a great sense of direction and leadership, and I'm very grateful that we found them, because I just think that they're the right people for the job. So in our update for the community, we've outlined some of the milestones in the roadmap in greater detail, so I won't dive into specific points. Just for the update to date in the town hall, I would like to share that our biggest focus right now is bridging. We have a plan for using Telcoin, the ERC20 on Ethereum, as a native token for Telcoin Network. Some people might describe it as a layer 1. Some people might describe it as like a side chain or whatever. We plan to support bridging to and from Ethereum, and Telcoin Network is going to be it's going to be a great spot to stay. So, you can come, you can go, you can move your tokens back and forth, but we plan to make Telcoin Network protocol significantly faster, significantly cheaper gas fees, and while maintaining the utmost security available in the industry today. So with that, we're planning deeper update on like the bridging in particular. We're in the process of coordinating with Axelar's team. They have a robust bridging solution that we have researched across the way. Instead of running attestation servers ourselves, they've leveraged an entire consensus protocol for attesting to the validity of transactions. So it's a great use case for blockchain in general. Markus has made significant progress for the on-chain programs that are going to be responsible for bridging and processing those transactions. And Steve and I are working on a system design for the light client that would allow Axelar relayers and node operators to verify transactions efficiently and using Merkle tree proofs. So with that, I do want to encourage everyone to keep track of the progress and kind of the roadmap in general. So we've with the TELIP process, we've kind of expanded a subcategory for Telcoin network improvement proposals that are heavily based off of Python and Ethereum and Bitcoin's improvement proposal system. We have it's a public repo, TNIPs, under the Telcoin Association GitHub. And we'll be specifying a lot of what are missing features and to get to mainnet will be specified there. They'll be voted on. And then once they are approved and they've been thoroughly evaluated, then we'll be continuing to develop in the repo, the Telcoin Network repo. So yeah, I encourage everybody to follow along there and like reach out, open feedback, security concerns, scalability concerns, etc. Like we are so excited to finally be in this position where we're organized and we can have the community a lot more involved in this, because the sky is the ceiling. There's really no limit, and we're just yeah, we're full steam ahead. So.
Awesome.
And
Thank you very much, Grant. Yeah, it's fantastic to hear all the updates over there. I mean, basically the development side has just been incredibly rapid. Recently, they've just been cruising, and with Markus and Steve, who I'm sure will speak, as I know they're running for council. It's been really exciting to watch. Are there any sort of roadmap guidelines or expectations that you have, or do you think that it's given this type of infrastructure, it's important to sort of be flexible with that?
yes, so there's I think the in terms of like TNIPs, we have in the first proposal an outline for just how we plan to uh, consider and evaluate and approve proposals for the Telcoin network. Again, the idea being that we know the missing features for mainnet that we need to get to, right? We have a stable testnet it's called Adiri, and Adiri based on one of the moons of Saturn. Our documentation kind of has more description if anybody's interested in some of the background of just Adiri in general. But we have a stable testnet, but there are some important features that are missing before we get to a point where we can actually launch a mainnet. And really, ultimately, like before we can have the protocol audited by third-party security audits. So a big part of that is bridging, because Telcoin already exists. It has a finite supply, 100 billion. It's on Ethereum and it's on Polygon, but the actual Genesis contract is on Ethereum. So some way to bridge that over for validator rewards and for other just liquidity on the chain. You also have this concept to support bridging. We need to have like a light client, some sort of protocol level that can verify and attest so that it can verify transaction results, so that servers can attest and come to a consensus that a bridging transaction is secure and ready to go through. Other than that, we're constantly improving our testing suite and security hardening. That can't be overstated. That's a never-ending project, really. But for the most part, we are expanding the way that blocks are being built. That should be a huge improvement for the benchmarking stuff. And then we'll be moving towards validator shuffling. So the entire process right now, validators are a static subset on the network. So if whatever the network starts with, there is a subset of validators. But through staking and slashing and just general governance, we're actively developing a solution so that new nodes can join an existing network, and bad nodes are kicked out of the network, essentially. So and ideally we don't have any of these bad nodes, right? We're planning on nodes to be run by these enterprise level hardware with redundant network connections, tons of bandwidth, etc. But there still is some need to ensure that the protocol can handle nodes that are Byzantine for whatever reason. As far as like our goals for the protocol team, like we are shooting for to be at like to have an security audit pending this year. Our internal goal is by October, have that all this in place, finding a new to be essentially feature complete and ready for an audit at that time.
Copy that. Yeah, fantastic update. Thank you for all of that, Grant. I mean, I think it's really important. It can't be overstated how critical bridge security is. Uh, Axelar, who we're working closely with, is partnered with some of the largest financial institutions in the world, trying to get in this space, like J.P. Morgan, et cetera. And we wanted to make sure that we had the most secure bridging system that was also incredibly fluid, and the team has done a great job of bringing that to life, and it's very exciting to see as new features come out, like the Dairy testnet, the Block Explorer that was created in partnership with Tex Guru, and also there's the FOSS, as you said, is coming, and a few other areas like the swap interface, basically a Uniswap v2 clone with on Telcoin network testnet. So fantastic update. Thank you again, Grant. Now I will jump into the inaugural election. Let's discuss how this all works as we work towards full communal self-governance of the platform. So at the highest level, the date, the election is going to take place on next Wednesday, September 4th at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time US, so the same time as this started. At that time, you will need to, if you're voting in the election, you will need to have your TEL staked. If you're a liquidity miner, that means your TELx liquidity provider tokens will need to be staked on TELx at that time. If you're a TEL staker, that means that the TEL that you want to use to vote is staked from your Telcoin mobile wallet. So the elections will take place at 4 p.m. It's important because it's the formal transfer of control over the Telcoin platform and its rules and the Treasury and its governance to the community. So it's your opportunity to actively participate and engage in shaping Telcoin's future. The process-wise nominations, so you can go to the forum now and nominate yourself for any number of positions across the 5 minor councils. Nominations are open until 24 hours before the election. We need to create the different proposals, which is September 3rd, so next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central. So you'll need to submit your nomination application to the forum by next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Central. And voting is a 7-day process. So it'll last from September 4th at 4 p.m. to September 11th at 4 p.m. And results will be immediately available after the vote closes on Snapshot. Following the vote, there is a 30-day compliance period. So basically each person who's elected needs to do some ID verification, which we've created the process for. The reason for not, doing that before the election with each of the candidates is that it would be it could be a lot of wasted effort. Or let's say someone decided to create a bunch of fake, proposals and submit them there. I mean, actually, I guess in that case it would help, but it would be a lot of extra work and sort of unnecessary. So yeah, there's a 30-day period after the election where people will need to submit ID. This is all completely private processes. None of that goes on to any sort of corporate registrar in the UK or whatever with people's identity. Privacy. Privacy means choosing what you share with who, and so the results of the compliance verification are all private. And so the different orgs and who's voting for who onto what, and then what do they do? So there's, as I discussed earlier, there are 4 different miner groups: TEL stakers, liquidity miners, developers, and validators. Each of these groups elects representatives to 5 different councils, including the Platform, Treasury, TAN, or Telcoin Application Network, TELx, and the Compliance Council. Each miner group is empowered with equal power in this governance system, and that's to ensure that their very distinct interests and their rights are protected in advance. So the minor groups are responsible for electing council members to the various council, and a minor's voting power within their group. So how much say do I have and who gets elected? It's based on their pro rata share of TELx staked for production on the platform at the time of the proposal. The candidates with the most votes are elected, i.e. it's a plurality, and it's a 7-day period. People can cast votes and change votes anytime during the period, though if you're not staked, you can't vote at all. So the different minor groups vote with different powers. They have different power for voting. The liquidity miners vote based off their prorated share of staked liquidity on TELx. Stakers vote based off their prorated share of TEL staked on TAN by Telcoin wallet users. Developers vote based off of their TEL staked on TAN relative to other developers. At the beginning, of course, Telcoin is the only developer, and so once this is live, and so that's a big reason for why we did a slight shift in the TGIP1 implementation plan, by the way, because as the only developer, we felt that there might be some conflicts there with future developers who want to join if we're just the only ones that are harvesting issuance. So we wanted to put that to the TAN Council to approve and vote the issuance system on TAN before participating. And then there's validators who and this is, I think there was some confusion earlier about what changes were made in the implementation plan. So validators until there are 10 validators that are producing blocks on Telcoin Network mainnet, the TAO, who is responsible for producing Telcoin Network, is also responsible for voting for candidates on their behalf. So until there are 10 validators on Telcoin Network mainnet, the TAO is representing their interests. And the reason for that is because you have this group of people that they're future stakeholders, and they could easily, without having representation within this governance system, be voted off the island. They could have their rights taken away. They could have their ability to harvest issuance taken away if the other groups decide that. And so we wanted to ensure, given the importance of validators and MNOs to the global scalability and overall vision and mission of this system, that they're represented now. And so the minor councils, as I said, there's a platform, Treasury, TAN, TELx, and compliance councils. The platform and Treasury councils are the global councils. So they look at the platform from as one indivisible system and govern it from that perspective. That includes the Telcoin TEL Treasury. That includes things like platform-wide social policies such as the election, the TEL Treasury and token contract, and governance infrastructure, and I have already said it, Telcoin Network, once there are 10 validators producing blocks on the network. So the management over the network will transition to the platform and Treasury councils. So the platform council has 8 members, and it's a balanced representation. So that means there's 2 members from each minor group, and it's sort of like an executive branch in a sense. It oversees platform-wide systems and policies. There's 2 voting processes. One of them is the Telcoin improvement proposal. This proposal is for social policies that don't impact the Telcoin network or the TEL Treasury, to enable them to, let's say, transition from Discord to a new communication server without having to go and do this much more stringent coding process that's called the TELIP process. So the platform and the Treasury Council use the TELIP process to change rules related to the TEL Treasury, governance infrastructure, Telcoin network. And so anything involving the TEL Treasury and Telcoin network, those things need to go through the TELIP process, which is first the platform council approves the proposal, then the Treasury Council by a unanimous vote. So if, basically, so by a unanimous vote can approve it. So, the system is set up such that, for instance, on the platform council, 5 out of 6 council members or supermajority need to approve the proposal for it to be passed. And the reason for that is so that you have this concept of unanimity. There needs to be, if something needs to be passed at the platform level, you got stakeholders who are all equal power and control over the system, then at least one person from every minor group needs to vote yes, or it doesn't work. And then the Treasury Council, as I said, they vote afterwards, and that is by unanimous consent. So anything that goes through the Treasury, all 4 members of the Treasury Council have to approve it. If one votes against it, then it's out. And then there's the local councils. So the TAN Council governs Telcoin Application Network, TEL issuance. They provide plan and finance for improvements to the system, share information, and overall are the managing governing entity of the Telcoin Application Network. And so they have this autonomy over this subsystem of the platform. And so that's in the same, it can be said for the TELx Council, who governs TELx locally, the TEL rules there, and everything involving TELx. And the reason for that is that it enables some very interesting things. So the first one is that you have people that are very specifically focused on very specific areas. And so, instead of having one group, like let's say Leninist Soviet Russia govern everything, we have these different groups responsible for different areas, enabling them to make what we think will be parallelized experiments. It'll enable them to sort of reduce the risk of making bad decisions to their zone. And so, and overall, enables a variety of really exciting things in terms of active participation. So you can imagine if every single thing that was done in governance by a token holder vote, you can imagine that would be quite odd experience. And so the final council is the Compliance Council, and this one crosses jurisdictions to perform very special purpose functions. This includes compliance matters, legal matters pertaining to the association. It's really like a sort of self-regulatory body within the association. It manages conflicts, so conflict resolution. I noticed that we had a candidate actually with conflict resolution experience at a telecom nominate themselves. So you can imagine that I might be a little excited by that. And then they also manage actor authorization. So things like council members being approved, things like new validators, GSMA members being approved into their position, new developers. And so yeah, they focus across the different areas of the platform to fulfill these special functions that are much needed for us to really, self-govern. We need self-regulation. And so yeah, as I said earlier, your voting power is based on your prorated share of TEL stake at the time of proposal. You participate first, just go in, review the different roles and responsibilities of each of the councils and the council members on the telcoin.org website and on the forum. If you're interested in running, submit your nomination app on the appropriate forum thread. If you go into the most recent update or the TAO section of the forum, there's a nomination instructions sheet that's interactive, so you can click within a different table and decide that you want to be a representative of, let's say, the platform council for stakers or something. Speaking of which, get out and run for office. And then to vote, you'll use Snapshot, and each minor group has its own specific Snapshot channel. Voting instructions are coming later today. Just need to go in and review and finalize and send it out. And so, yeah, and then after the election, there's council verification that needs to be completed within 30 days, or the TAO, who's one of the functions of the TAO is to substitute on behalf of council members who, let's say, fail to vote in 3 consecutive elections, and B, on behalf of the community when it fails to elect a candidate. So if no one runs for office, then the TAO naturally substitutes and votes on their behalf. And so this ensures full self-organization all the time, full operation. And so, yeah, I encourage everyone to get involved, whether it's by running for a position or just voting. This is your chance to have a direct say in Telcoin governance. And remember, you can find more information about the election process, council roles on the forum in the August release on the website. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask during our QA sessions. So, yeah, now that we have run through the election, it's time to transition over to candidate introductions. So, yeah, I'm excited to get people up here as it's more of the interactive portion of today's event. Actually, the rest of it really is interactive. So, yeah, but let's start off with platform council candidates. I'll just set the tone because I'm proudly running for platform council, and basically tell you guys a little bit about why I should be elected and what I intend to do. So, as the founder of the Telcoin Association, as someone who's been working on this thing for a long time, you know, there was no, though we're decentralizing the ownership to the community over the platform and its governance, we're not removing ourselves from the equation. We've created a system so that we can participate with and alongside the rest of the community in governance, not subtracting ourselves completely. That would be kind of silly. So for me, my goal is to ensure that we start up the councils properly to provide guidance about the rules. Given I wrote them, I know them in and out, and so can really be there as someone to guide people through. How do you make a proposal? What is within your jurisdiction? I have tons of plans for different proposals that I want to make related to the platform, and yeah, I'm just really excited to be considered and to join and to participate with the community on something that we all share ownership over. So yeah, for me, it's a matter of ensuring. As one example of what I do, for the platform council, right now the first election process, is it's pretty manual in a lot of ways, and so and that you have to start from somewhere with everything, right? And so like the very concept of decentralized connotes the idea that there was something centralized first. And so right now we're operating with a sort of relatively manual process for this. And so if we could figure out a way to automate even out the TAO from having to propose elections, et cetera, each year, that'd be great. So I have a lot of thoughts and ideas there. And overall, just taking lessons from the various different blockchain ecosystems out there that we've been able to observe over years and years. What do they do right? What do they do wrong? How do we do what XYZ growing L2 ecosystem did for its users, and in terms of creating a community-owned, blockchain and set of services? How do we do that for for a global set of mobile networks and a GSMA consortium and all those things? So I'm really excited just to begin helping develop this ecosystem and to help provide great proposals that sustain TEL for future generations, and but also finance our shared aspirations, endeavors, and bring our visions to reality. So I'm going to be very active platform council member if I'm elected, and really appreciate the opportunity to tell you guys a little bit about myself and why I'm interested. So yeah, who on the platform council would like to speak? Steve, you out there? If so,
Uplandix is here.
Uplandix.
Yeah, sorry for the weird name. I use my regular Discord.
Oh, Steve, you're Uplandix.
Yes.
That's a sweet name, man.
All right, we're partway through. I let Grant know halfway through the thing that, by the way, Yeah, I'm Steve Stanfield. I'm running for one of the new protocol engineers. So I'm running for the platform council as that pretty much. I'm working on the layer one, the protocol stuff. So I would be a good candidate because of that. I got all that insight into what's going on and implementing things and so forth. So
I totally agree. And just, yeah, spirit of leadership, very forward-thinking individuals. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it shakes out, Steve, but you got my vote.
thanks.
Yeah, you got my vote, Steve. Good man. And yeah, is there anything else you wanted to share about your experience with developing different systems, or
I
is that
mean,
good for now?
I've been doing protocol stuff for a few years. I was at PolySign before Telcoin. So I've been working on L1. I'm sort of a low level, like building the foundational tools kind of guy, but
I really appreciate you jumping up here, Steve. And let's see if you have anything else to share. We can invite Jabrail up. Do you have anything else you want to share, Steve?
oh no, sorry, I'm good.
Awesome. All right. I think I just added Jabrail. All right, so invite. Okay, that was 30 minutes ago, so I assume he's uninterested. So are there any other platform council members that want to come up here and talk about why they should be elected? All right. Then that leaves us to the Treasury Council. So Grant, word on the street is that you are running for council. You want to tell everyone why they should trust and vote for you?
Yes. So I'm running for the Treasury Council. Uh, one of the responsibilities for Treasury Council members is sort of like, to evaluating the proposals coming through Platform Council. I think I have a very intimate view of the protocol and like sort of like what's feasible, what sort of concerns we could run into, any sort of like conflicting interests, as well as just recognizing great ideas and diamonds in the rough. So I have looking forward to working closely with validators as well, like to meet their needs, to explain like where the system is at in its current state, and providing like realistic timelines and assessments of like where we can go from here. And I'm big on believing that anything is possible. It's just sort of like, should we do it or not? And I plan to bring that attitude to the protocol on the Treasury side, representing validators and the Treasury Council.
Awesome. So so Treasury Council candidates, who else is running? Markus, are you running?
Yes. Markus.
Invite Markus up here.
Here he is. Markus, will you raise your hand to speak? We can bring you up on stage. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sure can.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't realize I had to raise my hand. Thank you for that. Yeah, so my name is Markus. I'm currently working for the Telcoin Association in the capacity as a smart contract developer, and working, to expand the on-chain offerings for Telcoin network, give insight to the protocol layer, and also handle a lot of the bridging endeavors that we're undergoing to make the Telcoin ERC20 the base layer native token of Telcoin network. Yeah, so I'm running for Treasury Council, the developers subsection, and I think my skill set, which is largely smart contract solidity, focused, as well as some back-end experience, and like a lot of technical writing as well, is pretty uniquely like tailored for that chair, that position. And yeah, I guess another thing I wanted to say is that, you know, Telcoin's values and product sort of product market fit and like value proposition really closely aligns to a lot of the reasons why I originally got into the blockchain sphere originally. You know, everybody around the world has a mobile phone, but not everybody has a bank account. Everybody has an internet connection, whether it's via satellite or you know, mobile provider, but not everybody has access to the Western financial system. And I think that's a massive like opportunity to have an impact on how you know, the financial rails of the future look and operate, and how powerful users are within those rails. So yeah, I would be honored to serve.
Awesome. Well said.
Thank you, Marcus. All right, other Treasury Council candidates, anyone want to come up?
The I know CryptoSteveO's in the chat. He's saying that not quite in a spot to hop on the mic, so I think it's totally fine to post your notes here. We could read them out for the audio recording as well.
Yeah, and then there's also Billy Morris is running for liquidity miner rep on the Treasury Council. Yeah, Steve-O, if you want to, Steve-O, if you're going to be around for a bit, I mean, well, we're going to do the Q&A session, so you can also jump in there, whatever you'd like.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's see. All right. Anyone else, or shall we move on to the next council? Looks like we're moving on.
Anyone
All
else in
right.
tan? Cool.
Yeah. So TAN Council, who is running? Remember, if you want to speak, go to the right, upper right hand part of the Discord. There's a hand thing, and then Grant and I can let you in. Once, going twice, and oh, Nick Blue Lights. Oh, Steve wrote out a really nice thing here. I said, hi, everyone. I'm Steve, or CryptoSteveO, and I'm running for a seat on the TAN Council. Some TELfam may know me from the TELfam chats spaces host on X with my main and only Canadian friend, Andrew Pinch. Many years of experience in the crypto space, trading, staking, DeFi, multi-chain functionality, startup, hosts, etc., at least from the consumer side, and having held various leadership roles both personally and professionally, helps solidify that I'm 100% committed to advancing the network and utilizing my skill sets for the greater good. As a potential TAN staker rep, I plan to focus on ensuring a robust, secure, stable, and transparent platform where devs and our community members' voice is heard. I'll have a chance to educate and advocate, especially for community participation and marketing through governance, where we can drive innovation and take Telcoin to new heights. Let's make the network stronger and more rewarding for everyone involved. I agree, Steve. Really well said. Man, if he typed that from his phone, like just real quick like that, I'm just going to say I'm impressed. Looks like Andrew can't join.
Fantastic.
Okay. So TAN Council reps, Leo is running for that. Nick Blue Lights is trying to come up. Keep saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, go into the, if you guys go into the updates, which is titled update section of this Discord, and each of those areas has each of it's a platform through Compliance Council. All the candidates are auto posted from the forum to there. So if you want to go in and check them out, sounds like some people have missed or can't make it today. So yeah, let's move forward to the TELx Council. I know that we've got all the candidates for that in play. So does anyone want to come up? Oh, we got two. That's great. Boo. Boo Classic is coming up.
Come on.
Am I on?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, I think I'm on. Good. That's Blue Classic here from the UK. I've been invested in Telcoin since March 2018, and I'm really going for one of the three positions for the TELx, liquidity mining. I enjoy helping people, and I really want to see things done nice and fairly. So don't want to make sure that no one's going to be proposing anything a bit untoward or that might, should we say, advantage themselves. So I hope that any votes, well, I appreciate any votes that might come forward, but as there's a lot of people to get through, I'll pass the ball on to the next person. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Boo. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, it's all about, and the whole system has been designed with that, right? It's to make sure that, we have, the collective's interests are met. And so ideally the rules have set that up, and it's exciting when people like Boo come up and join and run for office. So now we got Ty, a very active member in the community.
Hi, folks.
Hey,
you can all hear
Ty.
me. Yeah, hi. Yeah, I put a pretty detailed application on the forum, so I'll just briefly summarize that. I've been involved in IT systems professionally for over 40 years. So you could class me as an old school Greybeard type systems analyst, software developer, although laterally I was mainly involved in commercial contract negotiation and enterprise systems project management. So I've, out of those 40 years, I've been self-employed for probably more than half of that. So I'm a very focused task completer, finisher. I can focus on the detail, but I can also have a good understanding of the bigger picture. I have a broad range of international experience across multiple market sectors in that time. I've worked in the UK, I've worked in Bermuda, I've run projects in Alaska, Florida, New York, and also latterly in New Zealand, where I'm living. I've been involved in international shipping systems, accounting systems. I've been a consultant to educational systems, hotel management systems, supervisory control systems, TV and media, and healthcare. So broad brush across a lot of sectors. I'd like to think in my time I understand systems, I understand people, I understand different cultures. So for a provider of global financial systems, I think I'm personally a good fit. So I hope I can convince people with that short summary that I'm up there to be voted for. That's it.
I don't want to be too public here, but I think I might be voting for you.
Great nomination.
Thanks,
and
guys.
yeah, great presentation.
What's it like
Thank you.
down in New Zealand, if I might ask? I've never been there.
God's own country, they call it. It's
Really?
coming into spring here, so we've just gone kind of through the winter. Christmas time is our summertime, so it's sunny. I live about 2-minute walk from one of the nicest beaches in the world, and yeah, I love it. I've been here for 22 years now. I moved from the UK. Prior to that, I was living in Bermuda. And then prior to that, I was working in London. And from Bermuda, I was doing the systems in America for, a shipping company. So yeah, Bermuda's been the place for me, settled there. got kids, got grandkids. I'm retired, so I can spend as much time as I need on the system. Passionate about Telcoin, passionate about the objectives of the association. So looking forward to throwing my hat in the ring and contributing as much as I can.
Wow, well, that was electric and very exciting, and I think the community agrees. High quality candidates, what Digdog said. So thank you so much, Akemi. We appreciate your consistent support and participation in Telcoin, and yeah, thanks for coming up and joining.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
TELx council members, who else is in the chat? We got a lot of liquidity miners out there, and there's a lot of candidates for this. But it's okay if you don't want to come up.
Again, we're really hoping to get as many participants as we can. Like the TAO is in a position to, ensure that the system moves forward, but that's not the main goal, and that's not certainly like what we hope for the association. We want to see every seat filled and then have as much community engagement and participation as we can. So even if you're on the fence, I encourage you to just, fill out a form to give it a shot. Like, this is not supposed to be a huge time sink for you. This is not supposed to be an on-call position. This isn't anything that you're going to be staying up till midnight doing. This is something that is going to be a great way to stay involved, to help shape the future of Telcoin and our platform, and to really just make your vision come to life and accomplish all that potential that is involved in this project. So I really I'm thrilled about the applicants that we've seen so far and the nominations that have come through. Everybody, it's going to be a tough election on some seats, and for all the vacancies that we have, I really hope that you'd consider finding a spot and filling out your nominating yourself. So would love to see every seat filled in this first election.
Yeah, that's a major, that would be just a huge win to get all these seats filled in the election. And we're close. We just need a few more. We could use some compliance council folks and a couple others. So, all right, now we're going to jump over to the compliance council. I know that we got a really solid candidate the other day. Dave, you want to come up and talk or no? Nice. Hey, Dave. Dave, are you there? Try and change your audio input, maybe.
Yeah, Dave, if you're speaking, it's not coming through yet. Well, why don't we go to Thinking Beer for a second, and then Dave, we'll come back to you in a minute. Hopefully, the mic will figure that out.
Oh, I think he's got a headphone thing. Headphone thing just popped up, though. Might work. All right, well, Thinking Beer. How are you doing? Sweet hashtag name.
Good, thank you. Yes, Thinking Beer. Yeah, that's how I go by. Real name's Hayden, and I'm on the platform. Well, applying for the platform council. So, apologies for being out of order there, but in Australia it's rush hour in the morning, so I've got the kids drop off. So, if you can deal with that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, and other people, if they want to, if you missed the platform or whatever council, you can come up after too. Yeah, I updated your address. I think I properly did that.
Yes, I haven't checked. I've seen the email come through. Thank you. Yeah. So just on my background, I'm traditional financial services, and I've been with TEL, or looking at TEL, and had it since 2018. So followed it all the way through, and I can just see a lot of potential there if you can pull it off. So from a work perspective, it is on the remittance front and the risk management front as well. So good experience there. A lot of work as well, improving systems, making it scalable and straight through processing, let's call it. So 15 years on that sort of side of the market, and the opportunities that you guys are working on and going to.
I feel like I might have lost you.
Yeah, I think it's having some connection issue or something.
What about me? Anybody hear me yet?
Hey, Dave, what's up?
All right, new laptop. Sorry.
All right.
All right. Yeah. Well, while we're waiting for him, you have the mic.
All right. Well, just like in the application, just been in the telecommunications for coming up on 30 years, and that's what drew me into the Telcoin of just the whole plan of what you're doing. So I've been active in all those things, the in TELx and staking and all that. Just going through these councils, which one I felt comfortable with. I'll leave that stuff to Andrew and Steve of new liquidity pools and stuff like that. So I just took my stuff as far as, like I said, with my union representation stuff at work and being that go-between between management workers, and we basically have a contract. So as far as conflict resolution and that stuff, sometimes when it's laid out, like I know there's a Telcoin or a Tel Association constitution. So sometimes as far as that is when it's all laid out, and just using your best judgment, hearing what other people are saying as far as the compliance part of it, just willing to sign up and see where it goes. I think everybody's going to be on a learning curve for a little while. So
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love the attitude. And yeah, we're excited to have you as a nominee. Like, that's fantastic.
All right. Well, thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. It's fantastic, as you said, and I want to just reiterate something earlier that Grant was on about. It's a lot of this. It's experimentation. We're as Steve noted, like, or Dave noted, excuse me. We are exploring uncharted territory in a lot of ways, right? And so, this isn't a crazy time commitment. It's not like a high pressure situation. It's really meant for people who have an interest in this and they're excited about it and they want to contribute and participate. So, yeah, Dave, thank you for coming up and and reading your application. It was really exciting that you have that conflict resolution experience, because it's so critical to maintaining a healthy community, is to ensure that if there are disputes, which there inevitably will, as Dave, I'm sure with working with unions and everything, it's and there's groups of people over shared things. There needs to be a low cost, easy mechanism for people to resolve those things without turning into escalation game of who's the craziest. So it's really exciting to have that component of the compliance council accounted for in conflict resolution there. So then we had a user come up a little bit ago that was cut off.
Thinking Beer, are you back? I'm sorry, I forgot
Yeah.
your name when you introduced yourself, but
Hey.
if you're ready to speak again, if you'd raise your hand, we'd bring you back up. Well, for all those who might have missed it, he's running on the platform council, so great stuff.
Yeah, awesome. And there are definitely some openings in the platform council to be accounted for, especially the liquidity miner and staking areas too. So there's some more candidates that could go there, participate on a really critical governing body of the association that has a lot of opportunities to make improvements to the platform. And so, yeah, well,
That's
are
right.
there any other candidates that want to come up and tell everyone why they should vote for them, or shall we continue towards the next part of the agenda?
Anyone else interested in introducing themselves?
Going in 3,
Alrighty.
2, 1. All right. So, yeah, great job, everyone, on coming up.
Just
We
in
really
time.
appreciate. Oh, what'd you say?
One
we
more,
got one.
Parker Liberty Lad. Come on up.
Nice. Liberty
Hello.
Lad, welcome.
Hello.
You hear me?
Yes.
Hey, yeah, so I'm running. I'm obviously I've been involved with this for a little while. I try to participate in the community as much as I can, and I know this is going to be a learning process, and I felt like we needed to get more people out there, so I volunteered. I'm happy to do so. I run a couple of different merch shops. I'm active in Twitter and Telegram. I'm constantly trying to do some research and see if I can find any new clues on what's happening next. But yeah, overall, I just wanted to be part of this whole process because it's exciting for me. I believe in the project, where it's going. I have been involved in marketing for the last 5 years, and I've been doing sales and business development for the last 10 plus years. So I'm, whatever I can do to help, I'm happy to do so, and I'm I'm going to put as much effort as I can into it.
That's exactly the type of attitude we're looking for at participation, man. Appreciate it, and we're excited for your nomination.
Yeah, your skill set's perfect for the TAN Council as well.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can help move us forward. And if somebody comes in who's leaps and bounds better than me, I have no problem stepping aside, just so long as we're still moving the ball forward.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, it was really hard for me to decide which council I was going to run for, because the concept of application layer economics is just so cool and fun. The ability to incentivize user behavior for driving adoption of the platform, and to incentivize like developers to build cool things that enable users to access them. Having a formal system for that within the issuance models is really, really exciting. And to reiterate, that's what the TAN Council does. So yeah, really exciting stuff. Thank you so much for joining Liberty Lad. And yeah, Liberty is a great word for us in here, because freedom's cool, And
Absolutely.
I got to guess you're in New Hampshire.
Me?
Yeah, because isn't that like liberty or death? That's the state.
Oh, no, I'm not. I'm from South Bend, Indiana.
Oh, no way. That's awesome. Yeah, our Paul, the CEO of Telcoin, is Notre Dame grad. So.
Yeah, I know. I took the Telcoin flag to Notre Dame Stadium and took a few pictures there. Yeah. I tried reaching out to Notre Dame, actually, because I know a bunch of people there.
What were you going to say?
What did they say?
No, what did you say?
Well, I know the person who's in charge of partnerships up there, and because I wanted to get inside like the stadium and take pictures inside like the locker room or by like the tunnel and everything like that. But they had some kind of event going on that weekend and wasn't able to do it, and I wanted to get that flag out before a certain day.
Hey, if you don't try, there's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Yeah, but I got it in front of the stadium, in front of the Golden Dome, in front of the grotto and everything, so it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Very
you're gonna have to send those to us, because I want to share it with Paul. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Great, man. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to share while you're up here, or any questions?
No, that's it. That's it. I'm just happy to help wherever I can.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
thank you. All right.
Well, thanks to all the candidates for some excellent presentations. Grant, did you have anything you wanted to add there, or should I move on to the next part of the agenda?
I think we are ready to move on to the open Q&A.
Okay, so yeah, first to start off, I'll address some of the questions that I received. We received at Discord, and then we'll open the floor for questions, just so we knock that stuff out. There's no redundancies. So, all right. So what's the difference between the Telcoin Association Discord and the Telcoin Holdings Discord? All things Telcoin Platform, Tel, and its governance and the association are in the association Discord. Whereas if you're going to the original Telcoin Discord, that's more for like support certainly is for community development too, but this is like, I would consider this, you know, a professional community server for us to, you know, talk about governance proposals and Telcoin and how we can improve it. And so we really want to, you know, it's not that like when people ask different questions about, you know, Telcoin holdings, like we don't want to answer. It's that either A, we you know, it's because, you know, they're separate channels for those discussions, but also, you know, and that's why there's different people managing them, as they know the answers to those questions. And you know, it's important that people understand that, you know, we're just the Telcoin Holdings, the company that operates the wallet and the bank. We're just one member out of any unlimited number of association participants. So another question that I received is actually a set of them from Ari Jones. So the question is, are we expecting the H2 outlay for 2024 to be the same as the invoice that was on the Telcoin Holdings proposal for development costs? So yeah, just a little bit of background. You know, in order for us for the whole thing to work, the Telcoin network is key to that. You know, in creating a network responsibly in a timely manner that's secure, you know, when you understand, like, you know, these systems are accounting for everyone's ownership on the internet, you know, and we expect that this will be the primary network where people hold their money and their assets, and so the security of that is just so paramount, and developing it with the right talent is also key. And so, you know, the TAO's role has been to implement, and still is to implement, you know, TGIP1, including Telcoin Network, in this process. And we expect Telcoin Network development to, you know, in terms of mainnet, to, you know, approach shortly, soon. I don't want to give any dates, give Grant a heart attack over there, but you know, so, you know, those funds have been primarily used to develop the network, and in the next phase, the platform and Treasury councils, who will be elected by the community in this election, using the TELIP process, will have full authority over Treasury issuance. So it's basically up to the platform and Treasury councils using the TELIP process to propose and approve next year's TEL issuance, including what percentage of that should be going towards development needs, which I said, you know, primarily includes Telcoin Network. So, and then similarly, there's like a TAO distribution safe, as well as like the TAO safe, on the list of different safes and transfers. And so while Telcoin Network is being developed, as I mentioned earlier, the TAO is responsible for governing it, which includes incentivizing validators to participate. And so, yeah, percentage of, I mean, all of the Telcoin Network TEL issuance, because we're so actively developing it, is being earmarked towards validator issuance, as well as developing the platform. So yeah, there's a portion that goes to the TAO distribution safe, for validator emissions, and yeah, so that certainly is an area that we're using that TEL towards, bringing on validators, providing them with an initial stake balance, and really experimenting with what that should look like, and how it should work. So yeah, that's it's beyond just year one development, legal, and org costs. It's, you know, developing the network, driving participation by validators, and their TEL issuance. So yeah, overall, there's TEL that's allocated to validators, there's TEL that's allocated to developing the network, and you know, it's sort of dependent on the stage of the network and when it's finalized. but yeah, they'll certainly be going to validators. And then there's another question about the agreements between Telcoin Holdings, the TAO, and the association. Those have all been created. But we couldn't execute those agreements until the TAO was fully established and incorporated in the UK. And so the agreements are drafted, created, and we're currently signing the share certs for the UK and then executing that agreement. So yeah, once those agreements are in place, it's fully executed, we'll share them openly, immediately, publicly. And then in terms of like IP, copyright, what is going where, Telcoin Holdings has, for instance, intellectual property related to like various like Telcoin, let's say like the Tel brand logo, things like that. And then there's also things like code, documentation, repositories related to the platform and network and association. Those have all already been transferred. And then there's remaining IP like brands and stuff like that, that through the same contract as I mentioned earlier, are licensed to both the association and to the TAO for use.
Yeah, and then Parker, to add to that too, and so much
Yeah.
is that the code, documentation, repositories, those are all under the associations, so they would be governed by the councils in particular. As far as the copyright and stuff, for the most part, all the code is like open source, is planning to, and if it's not open source, it will be open source. So as far as like IP stuff, like yeah, for the code, documentation, and repositories, that's all pretty public. But if for any sort of like property rights, I think it would go to the association, not to the TAO. And so much as the TAO, I guess, if it was in a place where it was representing vacant council seats, then I guess you could argue that way. But we'll be under the association.
Yep. And then next question. So it says, since we have changed the ordering from the original proposal, 10 validators and then the elections, having elections first, who will occupy the validator position of the council? So that's not exactly true. So if you go the TGIP1 implementation plan, I'll share it in the chat after this, but the Telcoin Network mainnet implementation and the election. So the election has always been before the mainnet and before validators are on the mainnet. There wasn't any switch between that. The only switch was between having TEL issuance on Telcoin Application Network prior to the election. And the rationale for doing it after the election is because we're the only developer right now, and we want the community to approve it before we operate within those rules. And then the how its role is managing Telcoin Network and developing it until there are 10 validators and a mainnet is to elect candidates to represent the interests of future validators, future stakeholders. So the people who will occupy the positions on representing the validators on the councils are people that run for those positions and then are elected by the TAO. For instance, I ran for a position that's elected by validators. So yeah, and then it's the same process for them in terms of voting, just like all the other minor groups. Once they're constituted and positioned to as validators, they'll have the opportunity to vote for candidates and run for office, just like the others. And then the next question was that we've seen some people use their Twitter, Discord, Telegram handles as a preferred name. However, since compliance requires that they provide identity documentation to those individuals, expect to be listed on the company's house. So the company's house is a UK, it's in the United Kingdom. The association is in Switzerland. But no, to reiterate, privacy means choosing what information you share with who, and it's a core value of this association. And it's actually prescribed in the association's constitution as a value and articulated as I just said it. And so first, individuals run for council, which is on the association and not the town. And then second, they undergo verification and approval. So your name doesn't go anywhere. It's not a public thing beyond the people that you share your verification info with privately of your own accord. So then it says the voting rules of the election state that the votes will be by the amount staked. I'm assuming that is either an LPs or sitting in the app for the liquidity miners and stakers, whom is able to vote on the developers and validators positions. So as I said earlier, validators are represented by the TAO, and then developers were the first developer voting. So once there's new developers, they'll also vote with us. But yeah, so Telcoin Holdings is voting as developer, and TAO will vote for validator positions. And then, of course, stakers and liquidity miners. So stakers vote based off of their TEL staked balance at the time of the proposal versus others in their group. And then TELx liquidity miners do the same, except based on their prorated share of liquidity providers' tokens staked on TELx. And then, those were all the questions I got. So now let's go ahead and open it up to the community. Who wants to ask some questions and join us up here? Hey, Dog, I know you're out there. What are you thinking? Jeff, anybody? Or are we pretty much set? Revealed 10-second countdown, and then
any other? I guess Jabril, if you're are you their request to speak a long time ago? Did we try to bring them up?
we did. We tried. I pressed the button.
Yeah, I did too.
But our man, Mr. Braille, did not come up. So,
all right, Ty with a question.
yeah. So
Okay.
Ty's coming up. Hold up.
Yep.
So there's a question from Wall Inspector too. So how many of the 10 minimum validators are there as of today? So with the basically until the main network is live, and there are no validators producing blocks on the Telcoin main network. However, we've been very detailed and long-term aligned discussions with numerous mobile networks over the years, and specifically over the past this year, now that things are coming to life, and a number of shared their interest. Some have even said things like, yeah, we tried this private blockchain and just internally, and it made no sense for us. And now we totally get why you're doing what you're doing. And so that's been really exciting. But it would be, until they've publicly said that they are participating, I think it'd be inappropriate to sort of divulge that stuff. But and then can we post which spots are currently on the program? 100%. We'll do that later. So, all right, Akemi, you get the floor.
Yeah, hi. No, that was the question about the, when will we really know as a community who the validators are? Because I think a lot of people are very excited to hear who the validators are, because that will give real substance to the product and the association and the objectives and the whole thing. So it's a real pivotal piece of information that I think a lot of people are, hanging their hats on and just holding out for. So yeah, but you've answered that. So, that's cool. Thanks.
Thanks, Ty. Yeah, I agree. It's going to be awesome. All right. Who do we have next, guys? Anyone? Grant, do you have anything that you wanted to add for the community, or should I just get ready for some closing remarks?
Yeah, I think just really appreciate everybody's time. It's kind of it's really rewarding to see this thing that you've been working on so hard, and having strangers join this voice chat, just like everybody seems to be in the same sort of like positive mindset, high energy, really positive outlook. I'm excited for the future. I think I've seen, Parker, how hard you've worked on the association and the governance system. So like to see it actually be in this position where we're ready to finally hold elections is just as you would say, electric, man. I'm so happy to be here. Thank everyone for participating. Is great. And of course, if there's any other questions that come up, we'll be on Discord. So
Yeah, likewise back to you. It's really been incredible to watch Telcoin Network development unfold, and none of this would be possible without being able to work with you on the governance system itself and everything. So I really appreciate that, and thank you all for coming up and in public sharing information about yourself. And I know that can be a little bit overwhelming. They say that the greatest fear that people have is public speaking. So thank you so much for coming up and for all your thoughtful, questions and engaging discussion. So as we wrap up, I'd like to remind everyone of a few key points. The nomination period, which you can go to the forum and submit your application now, ends on September 3rd at 4 p.m. You need to submit your council membership before then so that we can put together these proposals the next day and not being all last minute about it. The election will run from September 4th at 4 p.m. Central to September 11th. Please review the August 2024 Telcoin Association release in the forum for more detailed info. You can find links to the full version, light version, and TLDR in this Discord and from our Twitter at Telcoin Tau. Hopefully you've enjoyed the uptick in activity there. We're not big on like talking about stuff unless there's stuff to talk about, and now there's a lot of stuff to talk about, and beyond excited about that. So yeah, overall, you guys are crucial to shaping this thing and to making the Telcoin Platform Association a household name. So whether you're running for council position, you're just participating as a staker, bringing new users on to establish the service as shared payment network, or to actually participate in running for office as a council member, it does make a difference. It actually makes a verifiable difference, and it's a huge deal, and it's been really fantastic to see all the people come out and nominate themselves. You can imagine how naked we would feel if there were no applications out there, but there are a lot, and they're growing, and there's no reason that anyone should feel like they can't participate unless they really don't feel like they should or something, or like don't want to. But I think it's us. You can just think about it as us as community members discussing our shared system and products, and determining how best to sustainably manage and govern this shared system. And so it's a fun endeavor to do. I'm really excited to hopefully get elected to the platform council. And just thank you all for attending this town hall. We look forward to your continued engagement and really to building a strong community-driven Telcoin ecosystem together. So good night, everyone, and thank you so much for your time. Let's go get these councils elected.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.